What's up, you guys? What's up, what's up, what's up? I'm so proud of myself for being here right now. My kids are still asleep. My kids are still asleep, and I forgot to close the window. And I have to talk low and turn the mic up to avoid them waking up midstream. I'm gonna try to. Oof, I should technically be here for like what, 2 hours? What was the goal last time? Okay, cool. I can hear the volume. Let's put it on my YouTube channel. I'm live. Come say hi. I have topics too. I was gonna come last week and we'll talk about why I didn't. But for the new G's and the OGs, what's up? I'm Ashton, and I'm live. I have a whole intro about me being the host of Viva La Life podcast and Viva La Life podcast media. Got distracted, but yeah. And of Crash Course Pod, I'm a host pretty much. I had some crazy dreams, you guys. And it's so interesting because I usually don't let my kids play Roblox. Oh no, I threatened my son that he can't play Roblox. Sorry, I just remembered the other day or the last stream, it was a black widow on the ground, and I covered it back up, and so that space is open. And yikes, I just remembered to be careful. All right, so leave me messages if you want. I try to respond with kindness. Um, but we weren't talking about that. We were talking about something else. Give me a minute. Let me post this to the other YouTube channel. Oh, Roblox and dreams. So yeah, Roblox and dreams. So basically, my son always has nightmares when he plays Roblox. And so I threaten him, like, oh, you won't be able to if you keep having bad dreams, you know? Like, I'm going to ban you from playing Roblox. So, whatever about that. That's just the supplementary information because the real thing is last night I played Roblox with them. By the way, I've been streaming every few days on Twitch, me playing Roblox with my kids. So if you want to watch that, it's kind of fun, maybe a little funny hearing us all in our element. But yeah, we were playing last night, and then ended the game. I fell asleep and had the craziest dream. So like in the dream, we were like living in an airplane because like Earth was dangerous. It was like an army jet plane too. And so we were living in there, and like there's side stories there, with like everyone fighting in the plane, and then it got divided and just weird crap. And so um it like switched to a different scene where we were like at hometown buffet, but it was like paid for by like a billionaire. Like for some reason we were being rewarded as the guardians of the galaxy, I guess. So now that I'm telling you, maybe that's what it was. And so I was on the plane, and so like I'm getting this buffet, and then they're like, um, the billionaire wants to meet everybody. He'll be here soon. Now I'm like thinking, like, what's the point of this dream? It's just, it was so vivid in my dream. It was so vivid, and now I'm like, not really important. Anyways, so then like we're eating, and then the plane starts to land for the billionaire. And I kid you not, the billionaire that came out was like, this is like where I'm torn between like real life, like talking about not real life stuff, but like being honest and super direct, or just like lying. It's like there's no need to lie or for me to put on for the camera, because my own everything just be filling the voids, baby, filling the voids. Anyways, all right, so the billionaire gets off, and I already knew who it was, and I was kind of nervous because it was going to be like the first time we ever met. So I was like talking to people, and then I had a niece, which is weird because my brother doesn't even have kids. But for some reason, I was like babysitting my niece. And so I'm like watching her and trying to like pretend to be busy. The billionaire gets off, and it's like a paraplegic Drake. Like literally Drake, but he's paraplegic. Like, who's that guy that does the little hand thing on his computer? Stephen Hawking. It was like, he wasn't that bad, but he had like super thick Coke bottle glasses. So like he was kind of blind, but it was straight. Like, but he was paraplegic with Coke bottle glasses. And like everyone was just like, ah, like just like, like nothing ever changed. In my mind, I was like, what happened? Like in the dream, I was the only one that didn't know that's what he looked like. And I was trying to play it cool and not be like either ableist or discriminatory toward the disabled. And so like we were just chopping it up or whatever. And it's kind of like where it ended. It was some other stuff, but now that I'm on air, I'm forgetting the details. But I think the biggest part of those dreams was like in the sky, we were like fighting these alien things that was attacking the plane, and then the paraplegic Drake. I'm laughing because I thought about what I thought like in a dream when I saw him. In my mind, I was like, this nigga been faking behind a keyboard this whole time. He paraplegic. Nothing wrong with the paraplegic community. It's just like, it just really threw me for a loop. It really threw me for a loop. But that was the dream. We're 10 minutes in, so let's move on to some other things. Have a list. I think I had Cardi B on the list, and I wrote her on the list. Oh yeah, talk to Gemini about I am no better than anybody. DDG, Cardi B, and Drake. That goes somewhere, and we'll probably do that last because 1127, shout out to Rudy. Iraheta with Autism Homestead. Shout out to you. Shout out to the autism community. We're on the spectrum because we bring the light. But yeah, basically, well, now that I have a watcher, I'm like, do I want to still keep going? All right, it was about Cardi B. And so this talk to Gemini about I'm no better than anybody, that's a whole separate thing. But the thing I'm going to talk about now is I wrote her on the list and then she dropped a song, I think Outside, and she has an album coming out in like 2 months. July, August, September. Yeah, it's basically July. Happy July, everybody. I heard only TikTok snippets of the song. I don't think I'm her fan base anymore, to be honest. And that's crazy. Like, had you caught me in 2018, I was a diehard Cardi fan. I'm just like, I guess it's just not what I'm looking for. And that's okay. That's okay. It's just what she's putting out, it's not what I'm looking for. But the other thing, something that she did create that was amazing, is that little baby Blossom. She has Offset's whole face and she is so cute. Like, I want that baby. Like, Blossom is so cute. Like, such an adorable baby. Like, she reminds me of my son when he was born. He looked like similar to that. And honestly, my son was so pretty as a baby. People was thinking he was a girl. Like, they were like, is it a boy or a girl? And he'd be in blue or green or orange. And he'd be like, is it a boy or a girl? And I'm like, it's a boy. And they're like, oh, he's so pretty. Like, he's so beautiful. That's what Blossom is giving. Like, so beautiful. I wanted to comment on that last week. Because she's so pretty. Like, I won't even say pretty because I feel like pretty is like a coming into thing, like a full grown person. She's a baby, like adorable. Like, she's so adorable. Like, oh, baby fever. And honestly, I have been getting so much baby fever these days. Luckily, I'm single and currently on my period. Because like everyone that has a baby, I just feel like, oh, I wish it was me. Oh, and that reminds me. So in the dream, it was like a scene where we ended up on our patio, like my balcony patio. I don't know why I said balcony. Patio. And one of my old clients was there. She's like in her mid 90s. And I was talking to her about, because she had 11 kids, I think. Did she have 11 kids? In the dream, she had 11 kids. In real life, I don't remember. But in a dream, she had 11 kids. And I was telling her, like, I think about you all the time because I have 3 kids and it's a circus. I don't know how you did it with 11 kids. But then in the same breath, I told her, I wish I could have 11 kids. Like, having 11 kids sounds like a dream to me. Like, call me crazy, but I would love to have 11 kids. And so then that reminds me of, sorry, I'm just trying to get my hair. So, TikTok. Yeah, this girl posted, basically, like, it irritates her when people in their late 20s, early or mid 30s brag about not having kids and they still don't have a 401k, a house, a stable career. And she went down the list. And the comment was like, almost as if they shouldn't be having kids. I feel like they missed the point. Because I was thinking about that kid you not maybe like 3 days ago. I was like, these people be bragging about not having kids. be broke as fuck. And I'm like, how are y'all this broke? Like, you might as well have kids because I'm living a grade better than you guys. And I have three of the motherfuckers. Y'all have no kids and a cat. And y'all still struggling? Like, how are you struggling? I really don't get that. I don't care. But they be like so proud and broke. And I'm like, maybe you should have kids. Maybe that'll motivate you to like get your money up, because it seems like the people that be bragging the most be the brokest. And it's like, just say you're broke. Like, you don't gotta throw kids in it. Oh, I'm glad I don't have kids. I don't. It's like, girl, boy, bye. You can't afford them. Just say that. You can't afford them. You can't afford kids. How about that? Opposed to just making it a, oh, I'm saving my money. Like, still, is it shade? I don't know. That reminded me of that girl, Queen Sovereign's channel. I haven't really been watching her because, like I said, I don't want to fall into like the man hater category. Although some of the things she says I like, it seems so recently she's just been kind of like, I don't know, is she on purpose trying to trigger people? I'll tell you why. And then I have some more topics. Do you guys want me to talk about spiritual stuff? I gotta see what my percentage is. Okay, 20% on my phone. Okay, where is she? Oh, okay, there we go. Most people in relationships are weak-minded, is like her caption over her video. And then the other part is most people in relationships are just filling a void, which I kind of agree with that. Like, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with it. I just feel like to say most is a stretch. And then there's another one. You have nothing to gain by being male centered, which I agree. Men are too predictable for them to be running game on you. It says men are jealous of women because even at her worst, men still want her. So that's what I say. Like, I get conflicted because, like, her message, I get where she's coming from. Like, I understand the sentiment. I just feel like the delivery, though. No, it's not even the delivery. I just feel like this. Be careful what you swear you'll never do and what you'll never be. Be careful with how passionate you are about spewing your opinions, because life has a way of making you wear the jacket and the cloak. So it's not necessarily what she's saying, it's that she says it from a position of could never be me, like a pompous high horse position. And I feel like when you're talking about things like that, you should speak with a little bit more compassion and understanding, because a lot of situations aren't so cut and dry. Like, most people would love to just be like, oh, well, you should have chose better. Oh, you should know men play games. Oh, da 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 da. But that's only from our own limited point of view. We're only speaking based on what we've encountered and what we know to be. But there's so many mixes of people, many swirls of lifestyles. You can't say anything really with your chest because it's just different for everybody. And before you know it, you're walking a certain path and you become one of the people you condemn, talk down on, you know what I mean? I just feel like she should be very careful with how she's going about it, because I foresee life show making her one of the people she talks about, you know? I definitely see that happening. I definitely see that happening. Switching off topics, it just made me think of when I worked at the leasing office and I was like going through my divorce and like trying to get custody of my kids. Um, I guess I could just say it. My manager at the time, we were like just talking and I was like really going through it. I feel like when I look at those Instagram pictures from back in those times, I have a really good gift of not necessarily faking the funk, but like being positive despite my moods. I'd never been so miserable as I was then. Like, granted, I was putting that shit on. I was well dressed. I looked great. Had a great job. But I was so dead and sad inside because I didn't have my kids. Also, maybe because I was going through a divorce and he was like actively trying to ruin me. What is the point though? The point is looking back, had I not told you guys I was so miserable, you would never know. You would never know because everything looked so perfect. Like, oh, she's living the dream. So that was that. No. So back to the story though. So yeah, I was like talking to her. Was I venting? No. The thing is with me, I guess it wears in my, well, no, she knew my situation. Everyone knew my situation. So it's like I don't really come to people for like advice or help. People just like offer, they just unsolicitedly offer encouragement. And that's kind of what she was doing. I'm not mad at it though, because I don't know. I'm not mad at it. I was going to say because it helped, but it didn't help it. It didn't help at all. But like, it was just more like I was appreciative that she even tried, you know? Anyways, right now in the moment, I'm feeling so insecure on my personality. I don't know why. Like, okay, let me stick to the topic. So like we're talking or whatever, and then I still think about this like frequently, like why did she tell me this? So like I was telling her, and I guess everyone's always surprised that I married a Mexican, especially black people. I really didn't know black people were so like, you gotta marry within your own. Mostly because I hardly ever see or hardly ever saw black people with their own. Like, but then too, I always knew I wanted mixed kids. I still want mixed kids. Not because I don't like black men, mostly because I like what mixed kids look like. Like I like not knowing what I'm gonna get and anticipating which genes. Like I love that. I always knew since middle school I was gonna have mixed kids. I knew that shit. I knew that shit. I love It's such a gamble, and that takes me back to Blossom. So cute, so cute. Like you just never know what you're gonna get. Anyways, I was like telling her, and then I didn't tell her how we met. I don't tell very many people how we met, but let me see something. Okay. And so then she starts telling me about like how she first got pregnant, and she was like, basically she was like dealing with this guy she couldn't stand. Like I don't even know. I can't even remember. I can't remember like the whole storyline because I was kind of just stuck on the confusion of it. Like, wait, you didn't like him, but yeah, she was like, I guess he was like pursuing her and pursuing her and pursuing her and pursuing her, and then she finally gave him a chance, but she couldn't stand him, but she kept giving him a chance. And so I guess they were like done or on a break, and she kept dealing with him, and then she started dealing with some other guy at the same time. And then she got pregnant and she didn't know whose it was. And at that point in the story, in my mind, I'm like, what does this got to do with me? Like, how does this help my situation? Like, what? Anyways, she was like, and so she did the test, and the other guy, I guess, that she liked, that she was dealing with, it wasn't hers. It was the guys that she didn't like. So she went to him and was like, let's just do this right. And she was like, just gave him a full chance, and they got married. And then the marriage was a disaster. I think they had more kids. What was the lesson of that for me? I don't know what she was getting at. It was just great tea, I guess, for me to hear. I'm always confused when women don't know who the dad is, because that just feels like so much labor on the body. Like, you fucking two niggas? Like, you're fucking two niggas? Dude, fucking one is stressful enough. Like, fucking one is stressful enough. Two? Two of those energies flowing through your body? That's craziness. That's craziness. So when she was like, I don't know who the dad was, that's when my mind, I was like, this story has nothing to do with me. One, I think people think because I'm a little reckless that I be in reckless relationships. Like, no, we have nothing in common, lady. I don't fuck with guys that I don't like. I definitely don't get pregnant with them, and I definitely don't fuck on two guys at the same time. That'd be baffling me. But anyways, she told me that story, and to this day I still think about it. Like, what did that have to do with me? Like, I think it was a lesson in there for me somewhere, but I just don't understand, because that's not at all how I got married or none of my situation. I mean, it just, and then honestly, I looked at her sideways for the rest of the work relationship. Like, I would just look at her like, you dirty bitch. Not to judge, but that's how I felt. Like, you dirty bitch. But like, yeah. And in my mind, I was like, this has nothing to do with me. Like, I was married. Where did that come from? Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to say that, I guess, because I thought about it a few days ago again. And every time I think about it, I try to put the pieces like, why was she telling me this? What lesson is that? Like, how does this help me? Like, I don't know. I still think about that. So I guess back to Queen Sovereign. It's 5 minutes. Let's listen to it. I'm going to take off my earphones. Let's see.
Most relationships are bullshit. I would probably go as far as to say most relationships are bullshit. I would probably go as far as to say about 98% of relationships that people are in today are full of shit. Okay. And the reason being is because animals, overall, humans are the only species of animals that do not prepare their children to actually be independent to the point where they can actually coexist with other people and be interdependent within the relationships that they are in. No matter what, most humans are lacking, okay? Most men are lacking emotionally, okay? And most men are lacking sexually, okay? So they're always trying to depend on women to fill the gaps in for them sexually and emotionally. Women are lacking when it comes to validation. Most women are not self validated. Like, if women were to actually pick apart the conscious decisions and what's driving their conscious decisions daily, most of the time it is a man, the thought of a man, the opinion of a man that is driving their constant decisions. So they are going to be dependent on what a man thinks of them. And so what happens is that you get two of these people that are dependent on one another for what it is that they lack. That's where that whole term coming in, you're my other half.
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm not mad at all at what she's saying. I completely get what she's talking about. Case in point, I feel like I never considered myself to be like male centered. And then I had to think about it. Oh, no, it's not that I thought about it. I realized all the ways in which I am male centered because when I got my hair like locked. By the way, it's time for a retwist, but I think I'm gonna wait a little 2 more weeks until I can't see my parts, and then I'll do another retwist. But yeah, when I got my hair like this, I realized that I might be a little male centered because I was so insecure that males would not find me attractive because my hair is like this. Because I always felt like I had to get a weave. Truthfully, I always feel like for a man to find me attractive, I need to be in Fashion Nova or rainbow clothes and wear a weave. And so when I start doing what I want to do, like looking like this, because this is how I want to look and feel comfortable, and wearing my hair like this, I and then still coming on here to do this, I just felt like I wouldn't get as much attention and support, especially from men, because I don't look desirable. So I get what she's saying. I'm not saying she's wrong.
You complete me. That shit is bullshit. And then these same people that get in these relationships.
Oh, yeah. So what I was getting at was, but also what I had to realize is I'm only a specific demographic. There's billions of people in this world with different storylines and traits. And you, for the most part, align with what you are, or you align with your community, you align with similar beliefs. I think that ties in with the RAS, with the brain, how it just filters out things that doesn't relate. So with that being said, for her to say most, I would argue and say, well, most in your reality. I'm very sure, very confident it's not most worldwide. It's just most in your reality. So that's where it is. Like I agree with what she's saying because I feel like like she mirrors a reality that I've been in that I'm actively trying to leave. But with that being said, I genuinely believe that there's a whole different reality that's the opposite of what she preaches about. Now, that's not me being male centered because it's not necessarily about, oh, I believe there's good men out there. Not necessarily like that. I just believe that there are decent humans, male and female, out there everywhere. And you have to just align to that in order to experience and see that there's more than just one narrative. So,
Relationships wonder why the relationships don't last because at the end of the day, you're a human. Okay, out of all of the species, we have the most brain development out of all species, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because we are able to be knocked out of our instinctive habits to be able to understand having our needs met to have more of our survival together. Most people are codependent as fuck, okay? Most people are in a relationship because they're relying on one another financially, okay? They would not be able to do the shit that they're currently doing if they did not have a partner to be able to do it with. Most people that are in a relationship do not have the confidence to be able to do the shit that they are doing unless they're doing it with a partner.
and so I agree with her on that part too. Um, Mostly from a different POV, and that POV is like when guys be like stalking my social, not stalking, let's not say stalking, but when guys be on my social medias and they actively are in a relationship, that crap be bugging me because it's like, why are you here? Like, why are you here? Go to your girlfriend's page, go to your wife's page, go to your significant other's page. Like, and so then you like look at them and their page, or if you already know them, then you already know the situation. And then it's like, you're literally just in this relationship because you can't handle it alone, whether financially, emotionally, or sexually. Like, that's it. You're only in this relationship to fill your void. Kind of like what she's saying. Um, And so, yeah, I agree with her a lot. And so then that's the part that confuses me because then people be like pushing for like bachelors and bachelorettes to be in relationships. Like, oh, why don't they settle down? Oh, why don't they marry? And it's like, but what's the example? Like, A lot of people that are in relationships are unhappy. Well, no. See, I'm sounding like her now. That's not what I mean. Let me say it right. Let me say it right. There are people in relationships that are just out in it out of dependency and validation. And I was going to say, and you very rarely see the people that are in it and are having a good time. And that's because if you are in a happy, good, healthy relationship, keep that off the internet. Don't show people. So now I think we're getting to something. I think the reason why is because a lot of these people, see, I'm sounding like her, but that's the thing. That's why I feel torn because I don't dislike Queen Sovereign at all. I don't. And a lot of her message, I be getting it. I get the sentiment. It's just sometimes I just feel like be careful with thinking what you're better than because life has a way of making you become that exact thing. That's it. That's the only part. It's just like I would be careful with the language or even the attitude behind these situations because life will definitely show you. It could be you too, buddy. It's not like people wake up and choose to be like, oh, that's what it is. I feel like she's thinking or she's looking at it like, oh, this is so stupid. Why are you guys doing it like this? And it's like, I don't think people choose to wake up and be like, I want to be in a dumb relationship. I want to be in an abusive relationship. I want to be manipulated. For the most part, I don't even think men choose, oh, I want to manipulate this girl. I think a lot of it has to do with unhealed wounds and traumas, and people are most likely on autopilot, acting and playing out their childhood, replaying it in adult form, or actively living and playing with, or actively living and playing out their biggest fears and traumas. I think that's really what's pushing a lot of people, especially in these unhealthy relationships. I don't think anybody chose to wake up and be this way. So when she says most people in relationships are weak minded, I wouldn't call them weak minded because that's a judgment call. And like, I don't think any of us are in a position to just be like, you're weak minded because you don't know what happened or what the storyline is that got them to this point. Although what she's saying makes sense and it resonates to me, I wouldn't say go as far as call these people weak minded. I don't think anyone woke up and chose this. But some people have unhealed traumas and wounds, and before they know it, they're in this situation. Let's see what Gemini has to say. Most people in relationships are weak minded. What do you deduct? But I most definitely get what Queen Sovereign is saying because I do see people. So this is what Gemini says. The statement most people in relationships are weak minded is a strong and provocative claim. Deductions about the statement itself. It's a generalization. The statement applies a broad characteristic, weak minded, to a very diverse group. Most people in relationships. I agree. I agree. Generalizations are often oversimplifications and rarely hold true for every individual within a group. That's why I be torn with her because she does speak in generalizations. It uses subjective terms. Weak minded is a subjective term that can mean different things to different people. It implies a lack of resilience, independent thought, or self sufficiency, but these interpretations can vary widely. It reflects a particular viewpoint or experience. Such a strong statement often stems from personal experiences, observations, or a specific philosophical outlook. It might be based on seeing individuals make what the observer perceives as poor or overly dependent choices within relationships. That's exactly what I was getting at. Why I don't think people choose to wake up and be in a toxic relationship. I just don't think I think a lot of steps and a whole path and a whole system and routine has led you down this path, and before you know it you're in it, and you might be so in over your head and stuck that you just feel like you're trapped. So to just Yeah, it's an absolute claim. Using most suggests a high percentage, bordering on an absolute. Absolute statements are often difficult to prove universally. Potential interpretations. Someone holding this view might highly value individual self sufficiency and see any form of dependence or compromise within a relationship as a sign of weakness. They might believe that true strength lies in standing alone. And so that's why I say, like, that is in itself, to just feel that way is still unresolved trauma and wounds. So it's like, on one hand, you're demonizing, can I say demonizing people for compromising and being in these relationships, but as above, so below. There's always an opposite side to this, and the opposite side is hyper independence and being alone. In my opinion, I feel like if she didn't care about being in a relationship, she would never talk about it, because things you don't care about, it never crosses your mind. But because she does care, and it does make her feel bitter and upset, it's on her mind all the time, and she always has new takes and new takes and new takes. So I feel like she's doing the same thing as people in relationships, but she's doing it by herself. And that's compromising and settling and being hyper independent, which is the opposite of what she sees people in relationships doing. So that's why I say, like, you talk, or one would talk, and don't realize you're doing the exact same thing, but because you're not in a relationship, you feel like, oh, it's not me. So that's why I say, like, to judge a whole group, it's like, be careful, because we're all just reflections and mirrors of each other. So the thing she sees she doesn't like, it's probably what she really is in her heart, but she pushes herself out of that box. And because of that, because she's pushing herself out of the box she judges, she feels superior to that box. But at the end of the day, you're still in that box. That's still who you are in your core. 1001 angel number. This reminds me, all right, we'll get back to DDG in a minute, because we're going to get back to DDG. The person might have witnessed um, or have been involved in relationships where one or both partners exhibited behaviors that could be characterized as weak minded. For example, lack of boundaries, manipulation, sacrificing personal well being for relationship. Misunderstanding of interdependence. Healthy relationships often involve interdependence, a mutual reliance and support. Someone might misinterpret this interdependence as weakness or a loss of individual identity. And so, because I've been married, I understand that part too, where like someone like her would look at a relationship where there are flaws and be like, oh, you need to leave. Oh, you need to leave. And then we judge these people um, for sticking through it. And it's kind of like, you just, it's like, okay, so is it conditional love or is it unconditional love? Is it conditional love or is it unconditional love? If it's conditional, then yeah, you love them based on the conditions that you deem worthy of being of loving. And when they don't meet those conditions, you take off and leave. And she said that before, like, no one to leave, no one to leave. And it's like, I don't think people are in relationships just to be in relationships. I think, at least on one end, there's a genuine love there. I think we're missing that part in the relation. There's love. And so, whereas you might see someone as being dependent and weak minded, you don't know the relationship. You don't know the ins and outs. So, yeah, to someone on the outside, get up and leave. He's abusive. He's toxic. Only that person will know. Only the people in it will know. What am I getting at? Sometimes things in relationships have a rough patch. Sometimes people mess up and really mess up. And then you have the people that stick with them and work through it. And to me, I'm like, well, that's a love, It mirrors kind of like how God shows love for us, even when we don't deserve it or we're being manipulative, or just terrible human beings. No matter what, we still have love from God. And there are some people that demonstrate that in relationships. Like, we'll look at it and be like, man, like, I would have been gone, but this person is patient because they really love that person. Like, they really love that person. And that other person is so lucky because not a lot of people are like that. Like, when you find someone that really loves you and they just ride for you no matter what, even if you mash their faces in mud and they still ride for you, like, hang on to that, because you will get away from a person that loved you like that and realize, oh shit, people don't be loving nobody for real. People really don't be loving nobody for real. So when you get that, some people get that and take advantage and just think, oh, everybody's like that. Mm-mm. That's a real one. That's how I want to say that's a soulmate, someone that really loves you unconditionally. And it sucks that some people lose that to realize what they had. So going back to her, it just kind of shows how it shows me why she's not in a relationship and why she doesn't attract the relationship she may desire. And it's because she doesn't have love and compassion, or she just haven't found the person she genuinely loves through it all. You know what I mean? But so when I look at my situation, I think about, like, yeah, the stuff that I got a divorce over, some women don't get divorces for, they stick it through. And I had to just go back and be real with myself. It's like, yeah, I just didn't love him like that. I didn't love him through it all. No, like, it very much like conditional, I guess. If the conditions are better, then yeah. But to just love through it, because some people fight with their best friends, like fist fight too. People, like, there's so many examples of different situations in a toxic relationship that people have with people they actually love, and you see them work through it and move past it. So I necessarily don't think it's specific actions that be like, oh yeah, this is just for sure a no-go situation. I think it really depends on if the person really loved you like that on both ends, but all it takes is just one. So misunderstanding of interdependence, that's another thing too. Like, in a relationship, you are a team. You are a team. So to just get up and walk off, it's like, you got to make sure this is a reasonable decision, like, because this is the team. It's like being on the Lakers and you just be like, nah, fuck these guys, they talk too much, they're abusive, they're mean, and then you just leave. Okay, yeah, you can leave the team, but, like, trying to get back on after you leave, make sure that's really a right decision. The next one, skepticism about emotional vulnerability. Relationships require emotional vulnerability, which some might equate with weakness. The idea of love as strength is a counterpoint to this, as seen in some philosophical discussions, suggesting that vulnerability can actually build deeper, stronger bonds. Cynicism about human nature or relationships. A cynical view might see relationships as inherently compromising or manipulative, leading individuals to become weak or less authentic versions of themselves. And I definitely, that's why I say I agree with this, what she says, but then sometimes I'm like, don't want to agree too much, because she does come off as cynic when it comes to men and relationships. And that just lets me know that she's had some terrible ends of the stick in her own experiences. And this is why she has this cynic viewpoint of it all. So, counter arguments slash alternative perspective. Let's get into that after we finish the video.
Most people are codependent as fuck. They can't travel alone. They can't aspire to be a doctor, right? There are women out here, in their brain, it's easier for them to go marry a doctor than to become a doctor, because that's taking the easy way out. You're going to project all the things that you want out of a partner instead of just giving it to yourself. Most of these relationships are just created on the premise that I'm too lazy and I don't want to do the work that is required of me to do whatever it is that I need to do to have a fulfillment.
And so that's, I mean, This might come off as harsh and mean, and I don't mean it. But see, this is what leads me to like, is she a 304? Does she hang around 304s? Because that's a 304 bird mentality. So for her to just really sit in the idea of most women, it leads me to believe, and I believe she actually was a stripper once, that she's been around a lot of 304s. And so it's like, yeah, your idea and your viewpoints are heavily skewed because most women aren't like that at all. Most women are not like that. Like, if most women are not going to marry a doctor because they want it to be a doctor, that's a 304 thing. Most women are going to go and get that shit.
life alone. So I'm just going to slack off and not do what I have to do and then just hope and pray that someone's going to be able to give me the things that I don't want to work for and the things that I just don't want to do. Because another thing, too, is that relationships, you cannot go about relationships like you would a college degree or like you would being able to climb up the corporate ladder or like you would with the weight loss journey, because those are all things that you have a lot of control over, and in most cases you're going to get a return on your investment. So many women think that they can approach dating the same way that they approach all of the other things that I just mentioned. And you can't, because at the end of the day, people are going to practice their free will, especially men. Men have free will. You cannot control what somebody else does. And a lot of the time, you're not controlling anything else in your life. You're not controlling your finances. You're not controlling your emotions. You're not controlling what it is that you're choosing and not choosing to partake in.
So that's why I also get confused because I'm like, well, who's not doing that? Like, who's not controlling their finances? Who's not controlling their emotions? Like, those are all fundamental steps that you need to have mastered before you get into a relationship.
You don't have any control over your life. Most of these people in these relationships don't want to have any control over their life. It's way easier for them to have a person come into their life and then control whatever the fuck it is that that person is doing. And then when
And and so if that is true, then yeah, that's why these relationships end in disasters because this is a recipe for disaster. Well, I'm just going to project all of my weaknesses onto someone else that I get with. That's unevenly yoked. Yeah,
it
no.
doesn't work out, then they're going to get upset over it and get mad at everybody about it. At the end of the day, most relationships are created out of two people being weak and they're not strong enough to stand alone. Through my 32 years of experience, that is the number one thing that I have noticed. Most people that are in relationships that are very heavily
So that's why I say, like, sometimes I do get what she's saying, and then other times I feel like she needs to get out of her world, like, go see other things. Also, 32 years of experience is not a lot of experience because, like, let's just say you've been dating since 18. 18 minus 32 is, you do the math, like 20. Let's see. 14. 14. So that's 14 years of dating experience because in your 32 years, you have not been witnessing things. I mean, I guess because we already talked about our parents the last stream. My thing is, you have not actively been in a relationship for all of your 32 years of life. Like, come on. 14 years max. And 14 years is not enough experience to be giving people advice, in my opinion.
dependent on being in a relationship, they are very weak minded. They're not strong enough to stand alone. They're not strong enough to figure it out on their own. They have to rely on another person. They have to have a lifeline to be able to make it throughout this life. And then the thing about it is that relying on another person.
And so that's another thing I have. It's like, that's so dumb, in my opinion, of a viewpoint to have because, like, if that is the case, then that's where people have friends and family. Like, for her to default straight to, oh, in a relationship lets me know that the people that she's referring to have nobody else. Because why would they project all of that into a relationship if they already have a community of friends and family? And that also lets me know that she's hyper independent because she's been let down in her life by people. You see what I mean? It's like there's a lot of insecurities and projections going on in a lot of her stuff. So I get what she's saying. I do. But I also have to pull myself back because it's like, that's not the truth, though.
For your own sanity, for your own finances, you're going to find out sooner than later that they're not going to catch you when you fall. They're not going to break your fall because at the end of the day, it's still every man for himself. And when you're that.
And so that's the thing. It's like, yeah, that's with or without a partner, though. Like, who's getting into a relationship to be caught when they fall? Now, granted, you should have yourself. Like, and that's why I'm like, who is she talking about? Like, who are these people she be around? Because you should enter a relationship after you have a decent level of self mastery, meaning you don't need someone to catch you when you fall. But if you fall and they catch you, cool. You know what I mean? So it's like I just wonder who are these people that she's speaking of that are entering into a relationship for a transactional reason? Because that's all it sounds like. She's referring to people that enter into relationships for transactional reasons or a safety net. And yeah, that's going to fail 100% of the time because that's all you wanted. But why are we looking at that as an example of relationship that's already an unhealthy relationship?
That's why it's every man for himself. Like the quote is not every woman for herself, it's every man for himself. Men.
But it's the same because before you become man and woman, it's human. So that's why I thought of every human for themselves. Like,
Are always going to put themselves first. So when these women.
but that's smart. Everyone should always put themselves first. Everyone should always put themselves first because of exactly what she said. Who's going to catch you when you fall? You need to catch you when you fall first. First. Then you can have somebody else's back if they fall. But first, you need to be catching yourself because who is going to catch you when you fall? Nobody.
Are sitting here depending on a man to give him love, giving her love, depending on a man to give her all of this money. Okay, at the end of the day, it's going to be that man for himself when he decides that he is going to quit doing this stuff and put himself first over you. It's a waste of time. Get it yourself. Figure it out yourself, and it's going to be 10 times harder for you to want to have people be inserted into your life because you're going to realize that a lot of these people don't have anything to offer.
So that was what she said. So let's go back to Gemini. The counter arguments. Relationships can foster strength. Many psychological and sociological perspectives suggest that healthy relationships can actually enhance an individual's strength, resilience, and well being. Support, shared challenges, and mutual growth can make individuals stronger than they would be alone. Interdependence is not weakness. Healthy relationships involve a balance of independence and interdependence. Relying on a partner for support in certain areas doesn't inherently signify weakness. It can signify trust and a healthy division of emotional labor. Vulnerability as a strength. In modern psychology, particularly within attachment theory and positive psychology, vulnerability is often seen as a courageous act that builds intimacy and trust rather than weakness. Growth through challenge. Relationships inevitably present challenges and conflicts, most definitely. Navigating these require patience, communication skills, empathy, and self awareness, all qualities that indicate strength, not weakness. And just to speak on my situation, like I'm divorced now, and I often think like, well, one, I would not want to make that same mistake twice. You know, people say, well, if I could do it, I'd do it all over again. Ugh. I don't know if I do it all over again, but I will say I'm so grateful that I went through it. Like, I am such a better person after this situation than in it. learning how to cohabitat, learning how to get along with people, learning, especially if it's a challenging situation, like a challenging marriage, it builds so much character. It builds so much character because every day you're like in school, learning lessons, overcoming hurdles, overcoming challenges, learning more about yourself. It like puts your learning, your self development into overdrive. And I feel like I got a lot out of it, a lot good out of it. For one, my kids, like, I know people be like, oh, well, if I knew the daddy wouldn't be shit, I would have aborted the kid. Not me. Like, I am so great because I just know me. And I know, like, had I never went down that path and just stayed like her by myself and pursued a career and got to the top, I at this point would be looking for companionship and wanting to have a baby. Like I would be there in that situation, wanting and yearning, and being super thirsty. Like I know for sure I would have been wanting a baby desperately right about now. Even though the marriage didn't work out, I'm grateful that I just did it. Like I'm grateful that I did it and I saw through it. I'm on the other side of it now. So one, I'm not as thirsty to be married these days. Like I understand how much work that comes into it. I understand how much dedication and how much like allegiance you have to the cause. And yeah. And I also got kids out of it. And people demonize having kids. Like, them motherfuckers are little for 18 years. That's not a long time. That's not a long time. And 18 years is a stretch. By the time they're like 10, 11, 12, they already have their own agency. You're just their guide. So to just like think about it, you have a full life ahead of you. I don't know. I feel like out of the worst, I still grew. What am I getting at? I feel like when you do put yourself in relationships, and I'm not just saying go get in anything, no, not at all. But when you do get into a relationship, I feel like you, whether it works out or not, grow so much from it. And then it makes me think that maybe as humans, this is part of their human experience, learning relationships, learning how to get along with people. And so, how can you do that if you isolate and stay alone? Because if you demonize one group, like kind of how she demonizes men, it's like, so then that exposes some flaw in you because no one is inherently bad all the time, just like no one inherently is good all the time. So it's like for the exact reasons why she looks down on relationships and men is the exact reasons why she should be working through that. Because at the end of the day, it all goes back to you. It all goes back to you. Complexity. Relationships are incredibly complex, influenced by individual personalities, attachment styles, communication patterns, and external circumstances. Reducing them to a single judgment like weak minded overlooks the complexity. And I would argue that it's weak minded to avoid them because you don't want to have problems. Like, I think we came to this earth in this life to experience problems and learn to grow through it. Through every problem is a growth and a lesson. Through every problem is a growth and a lesson. To avoid them, you're avoiding your growth and your lessons. And that shows how weak minded you really are because you don't think you can handle it or you don't want to handle it. You want to stay in your comfort zone. Comfort zone people are weak minded. So you see how we can just keep throwing this around. In conclusion, the statement most people in relationships are weak minded reveals a critical, generalized, and likely individually rooted perspective. While it points to concerns about, oh, hi Maya, you pee pee? Okay, hold on, let me get you. Hold on, you guys. It clashes with many broader understandings that see relationships as a potential for sources of growth, resilience, and strength. I'll be right back. Let me get my kid. I should have brought a charger. I got some gummy bears while I'm at it. Okay, let me say it again. In conclusion, the statement most people in relationships are weak minded reveals a critical, generalized, and likely individually rooted perspective, while it points to concerns about autonomy and decision making within relationships. It clashes with many broader understandings that see relationships as potential sources of growth, resilience, and strength. And that's exactly what I experienced in my relationships, my marriages. Actually, all of them led me to growth, resilience, and strength. Even the act of leaving was strength. Because if you've ever been in a relationship, we all know it's not easy to leave. You got a lot of emotions brewing, history, in a way. So to just up and leave, that's hard. That's hard. But to be able to do that, still another layer of growth. So I don't know, people that demonize things like, oh men are evil, or most relationships have failing people and weak-minded, or even when people, just to swing over to another topic, oh, that's why I'm not having kids in this economy. In my opinion, it all points to you being selfish. That's just my opinion. I feel like on some level that person is selfish and they have a little more growing up to do, because life isn't just about, oh, I'm keeping it and harnessing it all for myself. Like, we're here to grow and flourish. And how can you flourish if you're just like, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that? Always protecting yourself, always in self mode. You have to get out there and you have to experience, and you're going to take some losses. But that's not what life is about. It's not about the losses. It's about recovering from the loss. It's about the journey. And also, when she was saying, like, most people get into relationships for this, that, and the third, I'm like, not necessarily. Like, where I am and in my life, I would be in a relationship for the journey of it all. I no longer see things as finite. Like, I'm going to marry this guy and be with him forever. Like, can that happen? Yes, possibly. But I know myself, and I know that I like to grow. I like to grow. I like to explore. So, and I'm going to put that above anything. I'm going to put that above anything. So if at any point we have to like break paths, I'm going to do that. Did it mean I didn't love you? Did it mean it? No, it just means that not everything is forever. So that's what I think. I think we have to redefine, well, everyone has to define what a relationship is for them. That's one. But yeah, that's my take. That's my take. So we went through it. And so you see why, like, on one hand, I do get what she's saying, but then on the other hand, I'm just like, don't want to relate to that at all, because it's just so much unhealed issues in the statement. Like, if we can make not a general, if we can make an unbiased statement with like psychological claims backing it, not source is my 32 years of experience, then yeah, I could be all team for it. I think the most thing her channel does for me is warn me not to be male centered. Like, because she does throw in some examples, some things that I have experienced. And yeah, it just reminds me whenever I'm getting in myself, my male centered face, like, back up a little bit, you know? But for the most part, I wouldn't, I would say her, her sentiments are unhealthy. But that's just something you have to grow into, like, for me. Well, no, I was gonna say, for me, I have to grow into appreciating my marriage. And it's like, no, I always kind of knew that. I'm grateful for who I became going through it. And I don't think I would have become this person as well rounded, um, even compassionate, had I not went through it. So, but that's just life. You just gotta learn and live a little. Um, what else? What else? Let me get my earphones back on so I can hear myself. All right, cool. Oof, I ate those gummy bears on an empty stomach, and that citric acid is cutting up. Cutting up. By the way, last night, me and my kids went on a snack run. Like it was 8:30 at night, and I was just like, I woke up from a nap, and I was like, I need gummy bears now. I need gummy bears, and I need them now. And so I like got my two oldest. We left the baby home, and I was like, "You guys want to walk to the store with me?" So they were like, "Yeah." So like, get dressed, hurry up, let's go. So like, me and my two oldest kids just like walked to the store, and we just got so much candy and junk. Like 4 boxes of popsicles, 3 boxes of cookies, Cheez-Its, gummy bears, gummy worms, like the work soda. Like we just went like some tweakers and just had bags. We were carrying bags and bags of junk food from the grocery store. In that moment, that's why I'm like, people that be like, oh, I don't want to have kids. I'm like, you're missing out on the fun. You're missing out. Like, that was so exhilarating. We were just up in it at night, and then my kids were like, I love walking around at night. Like, it was just a vibe, you guys. It was just a vibe. And then we come home with all of our snacks, and we're just stuffing our faces. And then I have to pee, and then I look, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I started my period. Literally, I started my period within 5 minutes of us getting back home. If you watched my Twitch stream when we were all playing Roblox together, that's what we did. We got junk food and then got on Roblox and started playing. Then you know, like that was the exact moment I started my period at like 10:30 at night. And I'm like, that's why I wanted gummy bears. Like the way I was just fiending for some snack food, it was so bad. I was like, I can't wait till tomorrow. I need it now. Now the other part is I just had a period June 5th. Like literally I had a period 24 days ago. And then today or yesterday night, I had another one. 2 periods in June. That's been happening like every 3 to 4 months. 2 periods in the same month. And it's not good. This is why I didn't show up last Monday. Well, for 2 reasons. One, I got triggered because somebody popped back in. And then I feel like every time they come back in my life, I get depressed very bad. Like, so depressed. But now that I'm on my period, I know, oh, that's what it was. I kept saying it was PMDD. I knew it was PMDD the whole time. I just didn't know my period was coming right back around again in June for the second time. So that's why I was depressed last week and I didn't show up Monday. But in the moment, I thought it was them, and I'm like, "See, they're they're hexing me." I don't know why I immediately think someone is hexing me when I get into a depression, but that's what I thought. I'm like, "See, I was perfectly fine until he started following me again. He hexed me. He's playing games with my mind." No. So I had to get myself together last week. And then the answer is revealed. I knew the answer would reveal itself. I just didn't know it'll be a me thing again. But yeah, I started my period. So that's what it was. I wasn't depressed because of him. I was depressed because it was just coming back around. And that was a week before. PMDD whoops my ass, you guys. And it's so bad. I forget. I forget in the moment that that's what it is. I just assume that I'm crazy. No, really. I really was like, Googling, am I schizophrenic? Like, guys, I was going down a deep dive because I'm like, this is not right. PMDD every single time. Every single time. I've already been diagnosed with PMDD like a while ago, like 7, 6, no, not 7, like years ago. I just forget every month that that's what it is. I literally would be thinking I'm crazy because it's just like, this ain't right. My mind's just not right. So should I talk about the trigger? Okay, if you watched a live that I did on this, I can't even remember. I think it was like I was wearing, I don't even want to say what I was wearing because it's like it leads to somebody else. But I was wearing a red jacket, I think. Anyways, it don't matter what I was wearing. It was like earlier this year, I did a live and I was talking about my lore about like I assumed this guy that was like super supportive was like an op because he was so supportive. I just assumed he was an op and was making fun of me behind my back. So I blocked him or unfollowed him and made him unfollow me. And then like did some self search, some soul searching and realized that like I'm just not used to being supported. And I may have like took it wrong and created a whole narrative in my head. And so I felt guilty and I felt bad about it. But in that same live, I was like, but I'm not going to go backtrack because when I backtrack, that makes things a lot worse. So I'm just like shit out of a supportive person. Um, so I just let it go. But anyway, last week they came back around. And I've had that happen before with a Capricorn guy. Butterfly. I don't know if y'all can see it. And I thought that him coming back around meant that he learned his lesson. But it was just more wasting of my time. So in that moment, I learned, all right, when people come back, fuck them because they didn't learn their lesson. They're just trying to see if they can overstep your boundaries again. And then I had to go back and forth with that situation to really be like, fuck him forever. No shade, wishing you the best. If you're out in Iran fighting for our country, thank you. But for the most part, we can't even be friends because you just waste a lot of my time. But for this guy, the one that came back last week, he really didn't do anything that I know of. I just felt away and I took it out on him. So he came back around and I was like kind of hesitant, but also I got depressed that same day. Little did I know I was going to start a period 7 days later. But yeah, he came back. So what does that teach me? You can never be too much for people that genuinely like you, you know? So go through the motions, do what you got to do. The people that are meant for you will always be back. And you know what? I say this and I could be back next week and be like, fuck him too. He wasted my time. But there's really no time to waste because I'm not giving him any time, really. I just wanted to say that because I don't remember um I don't remember which live that was, but I felt like this is the end to that story. If I find it, I'm gonna play it and then remind you guys this conversation now. But for me, it just felt like it felt good. I'm not gonna lie, it felt good. So let's move on to a different topic. Ashton Hall versus iShow Speed Race. I was watching it was the episode I talked about it already when India Love got a 9 to 5 with Ben and Neon and Aiden. And they were in the limo going back to wherever, United Airlines. They were in the limo going back to wherever, and I think it was Neon that was on the phone. Was it Neon? No, it was Aiden Ross, or Aiden. He was on the phone and it sounded like he was setting up a race between two people. Was this the race that he was setting up? Because that's what I thought. But anyways, when he was on the phone, he was talking to somebody. I think it was iShow Speed. And then he called Ashton, I think, and then they wanted the managers to talk. I didn't know who he was trying to set up to race. But in just watching it, in my mind, I was like, whoever this person that needs their manager involved knows that this could be a PR disaster for their brand. That's just what I picked up from it. I didn't know who was, and I probably still was an astronaut. I don't know. I will do the research and come back and tell y'all. But in the moment, I was like, whoever this person is knows that if they lose, it'll be a PR disaster, and that's why they want their manager involved. So fast forward, it's Ashton Hall versus iShow Speed in a race. Which I don't know why I find iShow Speed so attractive. Like he's so attractive to me. I think it's because he's so athletic. I want to race him. But yeah, and so Ashton Hall got beat like 4 times. What do I want to talk about? Nothing. That's just what I want to say. Um, yeah, that was it. I'm trying to think. I feel like I have more to say, but since it's been 2 weeks, I'm out of dialogue. Um, oh shoot, I didn't even talk about the streamer prom. See, yeah. All right, so let's get to the stream. See, it's been 2 weeks though. I'm out of the mood. The first thing with streamer prom, I personally feel like Funny Mike tried to play off of Streamer University because I thought it was all the same thing. That's why that other day when I was on here and I was like, wait, Funny Mike, I thought it was Kai Sinat's thing. They were playing off of, I feel like they were trying to play off of the audience. Like they were, they wanted it, no, they wanted it to look like, I'm talking to my phone, by the way, when I say no, I'm ignoring phone calls. Anyways, I feel like they wanted it to be confused. Like, oh, this is a streamer prom extension, like streamer university prom extension. Like, I thought it was. I thought that was going to be the running theme, like streamer university, and then they have the prom, and then they have like, what do they have it? Homecoming. Like, I thought it was going to be a whole thing. Like, oh, so streamer university is a thing now. Like, every few months or weeks, they're going to have an event as if they're really in college or in high school. That's what I thought. But come to find out, it was nothing with Kai Cenat. So on TikTok, you had some people saying that Kai Cenat thinks he's better than people. I think that was the best career move for Kai Cenat not showing up because then the people really would have been confused. I don't think he should have went because that wasn't his thing and it needs to be established. Yeah, yeah. I 100% think Kai made the best move by not showing up to that because it's not his thing. And I feel like they were trying to play off of his creation, Streamer University, by throwing the prom in there and mentioning Streamer University people. You know what I mean? And so then, yeah, I just feel like Funny Mike was riding off the coattails of Kai Cenat. Um, what else? The outfits were great. I feel like you guys know I'm going to talk about India Love because out of everybody, she's my favorite. But her and DDG, well, I didn't like DDG's blouse. His blouse was horrible. Like, it's giving Gaston from Beauty and the Beast meets the hood. So, no, not at all was I feeling his fit, but him and India's vibe was so LA, West Coast. Like, it was giving like Chola, LA baddie. So, I liked it. I feel like everybody puts so much emphasis on India Love's outfit and everything because she is a baddie. But you gotta remember, she's also an Aquarius. She's not gonna give you at all what you expect. It's always gonna be like, wouldn't have guessed that from you. Um, who else was there? That's the thing. I only watched DDG and India's stream. I didn't really watch nobody else. Because no one else is interesting to me. Let's just be real. Um, it was funded by Popeyes, or it was funded by Popeyes. Let me just keep it like that. I feel like that was racist. A bunch of black people and fried chicken. um. Oh, so there was some people that was like on TikTok that was shitting on Daisy. I don't know who she is like that. I just only knew of her through TikTok because people were shitting on her. I went and looked at her streams. I actually like Daisy. I actually like her. But I like everyone the audience hates. But they were like she shouldn't have went. I don't know, I guess because of her attitude. But that's why I like her. I like Daisy. I honestly like Daisy, and I'm not comparing because I don't dislike Wendy or her sister Evelyn, if that's the names. I don't dislike her. I just don't think I'm her targeted audience. I just don't relate to her. I don't know her. Don't care either. But I like Daisy more than them. Like, I like Daisy. I'm gonna probably look for her more now that I remember that I wrote her down in my notes. But yeah, I actually like Daisy. I like her attitude. I don't want her to change. You guys need to invite her to more stuff so I can watch her because I like her. Um, and then we have Krishan Rock who was there. You know what I feel like? I feel like Krishan got herself in a very karmic situation and it has altered her whole personality. And when I say karmic, I mean like you could do prison time for whatever you got involved with. Um, and that sucks, you know? That sucks. That sucks. And I'm not talking about her kid. I'm not talking about in regards to her kid. It just, when you look, it just seems like she did something or got involved with something or know of something and it eats away at her conscience and she's trying to run from it. And that's the personality we see in the cameras because she's like doing too much. I never really saw her in the limelight as like doing too much. She is a lot to handle. And that's always what we saw. But now it seems like she's overcompensating for something she's trying to hide. I don't know what it is, but it's changed my perspective of her and also the perspective of the audience. It's just something in her energy that has shifted and she's trying to run from it and it's being projected onto the screen. And I don't think Hollywood or the streamer people are going to help her with that. They're just going to give her the camera and be like, look, if you bring in views, we'll give you the dough. But also, I think it makes her insufferable to be around because she has something she got to deal with to ease her conscience. I used to really like her, but I was watching her on Streamer Prom and, you know, some of the clips on TikTok, and I'm kind of like turned off by her. Turned off by her entirely. And it has nothing to do with her kid. I feel like in regards to her kid, people should mind their business because like their favorite thing to say is, "Oh, she doesn't get her son help." Like, how do you know? You know how long it takes to get appointments? Let's say she wanted to start in May getting her son help. She probably wouldn't get her first appointment till like May 20th. And that's intake. That's just them learning you. They'll schedule another one another month out. Especially if he's on the county with Medi-Cal or Medicaid. So, what do you mean he's not getting help? What improvement? You want to see him doing backflips tonight? Like, come on, shut the fuck up. Half of you guys don't even have kids, and I can tell. Because if you had kids, you understand everything is a process. You don't just run it like, I want to give my son help, and he's perfect tomorrow. That shit takes progress. We might not see the help until he's 4 or 5 years old. Come on, like, you're dumb. Like, some people are dumb. So I'm not talking about that. And it don't even gotta be her to get help because like people have nannies, people have babysitters. So she personally don't have to do shit. She could pay for somebody to do it if she does, if she wants to. So I think people just like to run with narratives and then say they know, oh, you need to get your son help. How do you know she isn't? Like, and if I was her, I wouldn't tell y'all either. Like I wouldn't even put my son on that screen no more because the conversations is disrespectful as hell. I barely put my kids on the camera because I don't want people's opinions. I don't want people saying shit. Like, and their kids, protect them, protect their self-esteem at minimum. This baby is gonna grow up one day and hopefully it's all washed from the internet by then. But he's gonna see what people were saying about him. That kills self-esteem. And you guys are speaking word spells over this baby. So he feels that. He feels that. That's so sad. Like, think about if that was you. So, I'm not talking about that kid at all. I just mean her and her own outside shit. Whatever it is, she's trying to run from something and it's eating her alive. And it just makes her insufferable to watch. I didn't like it at all. I wish Funny Marco took me instead of her. I would love to join the streamers actually. They are, and I know I talk about DDG a lot and he's next on the topic. DDG suing blogs. I don't really know the topic. I just saw like on TikTok something about Shade Room. But like for the dialogue, I don't know. I guess he's suing blogs for false information. But what false information? Like what false information can you really spread about DDG? Swinging over to Ray J really quick. Did you guys see him venting about like where do you make 12 million? Where do you make 12 million? It reminds me of like this motivational, it was more like a tarot reading, let me not even cap, but it was like a tarot reading and they were saying how like the powers that were the old celebrities and everybody. A lot of them sold their buttholes and their souls for a certain position, but because that element is crumbling and it's being rearranged for a more authentic, less sinister celebrity, um, they're still in these contracts, but they're trying to go independent and trying to figure things out on their own. And I feel like when I saw that clip of Ray J like crashing out over streamer dollars, it made me think like y'all trying to get like I would not want to see them in the streamer world. I barely want to see Krishan Rock in the streamer world. But and so then when I look on Twitch, you do see like Caribou, um you just see musicians and old celebrities trying to become streamers. And it's like, you guys are the last people I want to see streaming. Like, I don't want to see y'all at all. At all. And I think that's the sentiment of the other audience. Because if you look in the comments under the Ray J video, they were all like, Ray J, we don't want to see you as a streamer. That's why you're not succeeding, because we don't want to see you. We've seen enough of you, and the stuff we know of you, we're disgusted. That's like Usher trying to be a streamer. Like, hell no, I don't want to see that. Are you okay? So yeah, that's that on it. Um, it is live. All right. I'm listening to it and it's a lag, and I was like, that's a long lag. Anyways, yeah. I just thought about that talking about DDG because like I just remember Ray J crashing out, and I'm like, dude, you're not making a lot of money as a streamer because we don't care about you as a streamer. I would rather watch DDG. I don't know nothing about him like that. And he's actually, well, like I said, I think I've said this back in like 2022 or 2023. I like to dislike him because it's more fun to dislike him than to like him. Keep him on his toes a bit. But do I genuinely have a reason to dislike him? No. And I don't think he does anything that's unlikable. I think he's very likable. Most people like him. Most people watch him. Um, I wouldn't make him my man for sure, not at all. But I don't think he's terrible. And so that's what brings me to like, what are the blogs saying that are lies about him? Like, he's really not doing nothing per se. The whole Hallie and his kid thing, I don't know. He got fucked over, I feel like, you know. And I'm not a male apologist or an abusive sympathizer. I just think it goes both ways. You know what I mean? I don't think you can just be like, because this is the thing. At one point, Hallie told us all to mind our business and we don't know. But now all of a sudden he's abusive and Halo can't be around him unless it's supervised visits. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of flip floppy in that energy for me to just be like, yeah, see, da 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 da. You know, I think it's unfair. When I was going through my divorce, had to do supervised visits with my kids, and I hated that so much. Like, I hate that for him. I hate that for him. Granted, it was only like one visit, but in my mind it was supposed to go out like that was supposed to be my turn because he lied on me and said I was abusive, so they made me have supervised visits. And that was making me so mad because like you can't really interact with your kid the way you want to because you got some motherfucker on your shoulder watching your every move, especially if you're a good parent. I think that sucks. I think that sucks. And I feel bad for him with that. I hope it levels out, you know, and he at least gets to be parenting time is equal because every parent that wants, that's another thing too. There's a lot of niggas that don't give a fuck about their kids. She's coming for a guy that actively wants to be in his kid's life. And I think mostly she's just punishing him for being with baddies. That's it. She feels a way. She wanted him to chase her and he didn't. He went to other women and she feels away like, oh, well, I'll show you. You can't have your kid. Tell as old as time. So, but with the blog saying, I don't know. I don't even read the blogs, but I guess he's suing them. As he should. But also, save your money, brother. Save your money because these people gonna always talk. Um, 10%. All right, cool. Let me see how long my other lives were. So I could see how long I need to keep going. 2 hours and like 10 minutes. So I need to go for another 30 minutes. Do you know you have 30 minutes? Do you know you have 30 minutes? All right, what else do I have? So I did Ashton Hall, I Show Speed. Where is my list? I lost my list. I think I archived it on accident. I have. That's so crazy, you guys. I really thought I was going insane. Like, I really thought I was schizophrenic last week and that I was going into like the worst depressive episode. I was like, I'm quitting everything. I applied to work at CVS. Like, really, I was just so going through it. Because I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna work at CVS and quit everything. Like, I was so distraught. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I do have a podcast episode that I'm going to record. I was supposed to record it last Thursday, but like I said, I was going through it. Good thing I started my running, and there's nothing wrong with working CVS, but good thing I started running because like that's the only thing that kept me grounded. And like the last day I went running, I couldn't even like cry because I wanted to just cry and cry. And so I started crying and I couldn't breathe. I was like, but I had to keep running. And I'm like, oh, fuck that crying shit. I gotta run. So good thing because I didn't even get to cry. But, dude, it was not good last week. So that's why I was thinking, like, he hacks to me. He hacks to me. Okay, so Ashton Hall, I Show Speed, we talked about DDG still in blogs. We talked about back to DDG. So I've been kind of watching him a little bit in France only because I was on Twitch and he'd be the first one that pop up on people to watch. And so then it was a little bit of Sexy Red that he was with, and I'm still never gonna fuck with her music, but she was making me laugh, and I was like laughing in anger because like I am supposed to hate her, but she's making me laugh, and I'm like, ugh. So then I just had to like. So this is what I settled with. I get why people fuck with her. I really do get why people fuck with her. Like outside of her music and her persona, I can genuinely see she is a likable person. I hate to say it. I know I'm eating my own words, but like she's a likable person for real. I would have to be a diehard hater to sit here and say Sexy Red is a terrible person to be around. I was laughing at her antics with that mustache. It was just so funny. And I'm just like, ugh, but you're supposed to hate her. You always talk about how much you don't like her and you don't like her and you don't like her. And here you are laughing at her antics and thinking she's funny. And I had to sit with myself. And this is why we're going to get to the bottom, talk to Gemini about I am no better than anybody. Because it goes back to that, like, yeah. But I will have to admit, like, she does have I won't say a good personality, because good and bad is subjective. But she has, like, I get it. I get why people like her. She's fun to be around. From what I saw, she's a fun time to be around. If you give her a chance and you're not being a hating ass bitch. No, really, like for real. That's what I love about myself is that like I go back and forth. I'm not so dead set on an idea. I might be very passionate for a long time, but I'm okay with going back on my statements. I'm okay with laughing at myself. I'm okay with it all. I'm not like just this rigid person. But yeah, she was actually entertaining me. And for the longest, I just could not get why people liked her. Like, I did not get it. Like, I want to see her on more live streams. Okay, so there was a live stream with Black Boy Max, and he had like this crash out type of guy. I don't even know his name, but whatever about him. And then like he was like talking shit, I guess, about the beats and everything, and then he left. Another United plane. United is coming around today. And so then he left, and then you can see Black Boy Max is just like feeling defeated, like in his mind, like, why did I invite these niggas? And then you can see Sexy Red trying to like keep it going, like, okay, so what is it? Da, 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 da. That little part was when I was like, ugh, she might not be as bad as I'm judging her to be. Even though previous lives I had to go on air and like not judge her and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't judge her. It goes both ways and you shouldn't call a woman disgusting. But since then, I've been like, I don't fuck with her. I don't like her. You know what I mean? But that was when I first saw about her. Like, she might not be as bad as I think she is. She might not be as bad. And then this one, I'm like, yeah, I get why people like her. She has a likable personality. She's funny, for real. Like, and I hate to say that. No, I don't hate to say it. But it's just like I get it. So now is she talented in music? I don't think so. But she brings something to the table most definitely. And I think that's what people like and that's what she can capitalize on. So it goes back to my statement. Should she get on streaming? Honestly, I think if Sexy Red became a streamer, she's probably the only musician that I will give this pass to because I don't want to see Cardi B streaming. I don't want to see Nicki Minaj streaming. I don't want to see Cash Doll streaming. I don't want to see Caribou streaming. But Sexy Red, I might start liking her, not to listen to her music, but I might like her more if she became a streamer because she has a likable personality. From what I saw, I'm like, yeah, she seems like a fun time. Is she an Aries? She gives me Aries energy. If she's an Aries, then I know exactly what the deal was with that. Watch her be an Aries. She's an Aries. She's an Aries. Yeah, she's most definitely giving Aries energy. I kind of knew that before I pulled it up. Um, so yeah, I get it. I get it. She's most definitely probably a fun time. I get why people like her. I do. It's like one of those things where you gotta like not judge a book by the cover. Is she like me? People will probably say that about me. Like, you know what? I actually like Ashton. So yeah, I think she should stream. I think that might be a better. Well, who am I to judge people or not to judge? But who am I to say what she should and shouldn't do? But I think she should stream. I think she would win over the fan base that hates her by streaming because she has a likable personality. She's not a stuck up bitch. That's what it is. She's not a stuck up bitch. She's not a stuck up bitch. I don't even think she's a hoe for real. Yeah, I don't even think she's a hoe for real. But even if she is, her personality is likable. Her personality is very likable. And that's just what I came to the conclusion of watching her for like a couple of minutes. Um, oh, Krishan Rock and Blueface. I'm supposed to discuss them as a couple, but there's nothing I have to say about Blueface. I feel like yeah, I don't even want to talk about them. They get on my nerves. So let's start erasing these things that I've already talked about. We talked about streamer prom. There's really nothing else about streamer prom, right? No. So things are only getting more expensive, so do it now. Yeah. I was thinking about that in regards to like the housing market, which is everything, groceries, everything. Like it's only going to get more expensive in life. Life is only going to get harder and more expensive. So you might as well do it now. Like you might have as well do it now. Do it now before it gets more expensive than what it is now. And the reason why I was thinking about that is because, you know, those posts where people will be like, oh, I should have been buying a house, but I was too busy being in kindergarten. Yeah, the housing market actually was initially volatile in 91. And then the crash hit in '08. Um, and now we're here. People are like expecting housing prices to go down. They've been expecting them to go down since 91. So my thing is just go ahead and try and get one now because it's only going to get more expensive. Like, and then pretty soon, if you can't even hit it now, when it jumps higher than what it is now, you're going to be so shit out of luck. You'll be renting for the rest of your life. So do it now. It's only going to get more expensive now. I think it's healthy for prices to sky high so we can like, because what, sky's the limit. So we get comfortable and then we get to be in a routine of being able to pay base level. But then when it jumps, it forces you to do more. And when you do more, you realize that there's more you can do and there's more you can achieve. I think we're going to start having more millionaires because everything is so goddamn expensive. And then it's going to go higher. And then it's going to be like, okay, we're going to have more billionaires. It's only going to get higher and higher. So you need to either be ahead of the curve or at least keep up, be able to keep up. Because it's only, I think that's what life is about, getting harder and harder, getting more and more challenging. Why would it be the same forever? You know what I mean? Um, that made me think of something, but I forgot it just as fast as I thought of it. So, things are only getting more expensive. Do it now. All right, so let's delete that and streamer prom because we covered that too. And Krishan and Blueface. All right, and I like Daisy, so let's delete that too. So we're gonna talk to Gemini about I am no better than anybody. And then that'll be the last thing we talk about. Let's talk about Mary Jane Byarm now. I'm just setting it up. All right, I got it in. All right, so Mary Jane Byarm. Okay. I unfollowed her. And it's not because she raised all of that money for Africa and then ended up in France. And I only found that out like last week because I unfollowed her maybe a month prior to last week. And then I went last week to see how she's doing. Because I like to do that. I like to unfollow people and then see if they're doing better or worse without my support. Why? Because it makes me feel like I have some type of control in anything. It makes me feel validated in my choices. That actually goes back to Sexy Red because it's like, why are you still succeeding despite me liking you? And then it makes me have to look at myself and be like, you ain't shit. But no, we'll get back into that because that's what I was loading in the clip to talk about with Gemini. And it's not her. It's Sexy Red, Cardi B, Drake, and DDG. Those are like the main 4 people that I struggle with liking with no reason other than I feel like I'm better than them. And that's not current feelings. These are feelings I've already worked through. But I want to talk to you guys about it. But we'll get back to that. Let's get back to Mary Jane Bayard. So she like did this stream about a month ago about how astrology and zodiacs and horoscopes are like evil. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's no secret I support you. And it's also no secret that I'm witchy. Why would you go on a public stream bashing the very things I believe in? And I support you. Like your fellow Christians go on live stream and tear you down every chance they get. Yet you're judging the witchy girls? I felt a lot of ways, because she was really trying to make it seem like because it's in the Bible, it means that God Himself won't fuck with you. And I just have a problem with people that think that. Like, you don't speak for God. I mean, you can only guess based on a written book, but like for anyone to just stand and say it with their chest, you don't speak for Him. You don't know what He likes and what He dislikes for real, for real. You know what I mean? So for you to just be like, it's evil and you're condemned and you'll go to hell, it really made me feel some type of way, because it's like hate speech. It's like literally hate speech because of a difference of beliefs. And it's like, are you that narrow minded? Like, are you that narrow minded? And then it made me feel even more because I'm like, and I didn't say any of this in her chat. She was using the Bible, so I was using the Bible to refute everything she was saying. So I went back, Bible for Bible, bar for bar. And so the thing that made me, because I even after that, I even commented in her live stream, like, I still love you. It's just difference of beliefs. But what made me like turn into dislike, I'm not gonna even hold you. What made me turn into dislike is because she privated that live stream to subscribers only. And to me, that made me feel like you no, 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 no. It made me feel like, oh, you couldn't take the heat. So you would rather limit this discussion to people that agree with you, which are your subscribers, or like not subscribers, because on YouTube everyone subscribes, but like the members only. She made it members only content. And so that made me feel like, so you would rather live in ignorance surrounding yourself with people that believe like you than to have this conversation with people disagreeing with you. Like, that kind of made me feel away, like, oh yeah, you're very narrow minded. Like, I should have known though, because she speaks highly of David Goggins. And like, no shade to him, but he hates himself. David Goggins hates himself. And that's why he puts himself through this torture. He tortures himself because he hates himself. I don't know what he got going on inside, but he hates himself. And that's why he's able to achieve, because he hates himself that much that he's able to push himself to do impossible seeming things. And she praises him. So it makes me think, oh, you hate yourself too. And this is my opinion. What am I getting at? I don't know. I don't want to say she got issues, but that's what it makes me feel like. She has issues because like there was no reason on an unprovoked day, knowing your audience, knowing some in your audience just supports you heavily, have even gone to bat for you, to go on here and just start this hate campaign and divisiveness about religion. Like, what? That was so confusing. It's like, are you on purpose trying to alienate me? I really took it every which way. And so, yeah, she had me fucked up, to be honest. So, she managed. So that's the thing. Like, I would always be like on Choice TV, like, I don't care. You ain't gonna ever make me not like Mary Jane. Like, and no one did. She made me dislike her own damn self. Because, like, what the fuck was that? What the hell was that? Like, really? And not because she went on and said it, is that she couldn't keep it public. she had to private it to her members only. And that's what made me know she's wrong. Like, oh, so you know you wrong. But instead of admitting you're wrong or admitting maybe I have overstepped, you would rather limit it to members only so you can be validated in your dumbassness. And then I was like, you doing a lot of talking about which religion is right and which religion is wrong for someone that's on the internet begging every day. Like, I consider myself to be witchy. And I'm not begging. I don't ask y'all for a dime ever. Never have I ever. Although at the bottom, if you want to drop some money in my cash app, go ahead. And so that was the biggest thing is like you judge by the fruits, and based on your fruits, baby, you need to find another god because he's leaving you in Africa to strand and starve. I didn't say any of that. It was just what I was feeling. Like you could doing a lot of talking for somebody that's on the internet begging. You know what I mean? I feel like why would you fix your mouth to say anything when your life ain't right? Like you're not stable. You jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump around. Dude, yeah, I got all the way mad. And now I'm letting it out. I'm just telling y'all. So yeah, I unfollow her. Is it beef? It's not beef, but it's really fuck her forever. Good riddance on your life and your journey. And so in my mind, I'm like, that's probably why she's in France now because it didn't work out. Because it's like you alienated a good amount of people that was willing to throw money at you. Like you alienated a good amount of people that was helping you on your journeys with that dumbass life. And instead of going and admitting it and apologizing, you wanted to limit it to members only. So that's another character flaw on her on top of that. She's a dumbass. For real. She's a dumbass. She's a dumbass. She's a dumbass. I'm about to check right now if she's still in France because I don't want to get in my own space and then be checking on her because I don't want to care about her at all ever. Yeah, there she go in Paris. My new plan to visit every country in Africa this year. Yeah, good luck with that. She's not going to make it. She's not going to make it. Good luck because you're a dumbass bitch. Fundraiser. Yeah. Hold on, guys. We got the gummy pops because they're always sold out in the hood because that's where they have them. They're always sold out. Like ever since, and I know, I want to take credit for that. Ever since I went on and did that promo for them, they've been sold out everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Last night when me and my kids did the grocery run, they had like boxes and boxes of them. So I got up four, like two of the blue and red ones and two of the yellow and red ones. I like the blue and red ones. My kids like the yellow and red ones more. But yeah, just wanted to say that. I finally got them and I grabbed four. I should go back and just keep getting them all. They're so good. They're so good. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, so back to her. And that's another thing too. It's like she has the scammer um allegations going around. I'm like, and you fix your mouth to judge astrology girlies and witchy girlies. Like, fuck you. That's why you're failing right now. For real. That's why you're failing because that was dumb. That was dumb. That was hateful. That was divisive. And it's a slap in the face of the people that actually supported you when even your own Christians, if you want to limit it to, when people were coming for you. Like, you actually had real supporters. Then you went and did that dumb shit, and that's why you're struggling. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're not. Another United plane. You're not going to make it because you alienated the very people. You need to go and apologize and backtrack if you expect any support from anybody that actually had the funds to help you in your dumbass journeys. No, she pissed me off with that and fuck her forever. Nah, I'm not going to say die. I'm not going to wish death on her, but fuck her for real. All right. Now, all right. So I made my time in about 10 minutes. I would have hit my time. So I'm going to be very honest with you guys, okay? Try not to judge me because, unlike Mary Jane Byarm, I do know when I'm being hateful in my speech or divisive, or if I just have an unhealthy thought pattern. I am aware and I'm trying to work through it. So, this is what it is. It says, talk to Gemini about I'm no better than anybody. DDG, Cardi B, Drake, and Sexy Red. The reason is because I view myself as superior to these people, yet haven't accomplished as much as them. And then when I see them achieving things that I want to achieve, I feel slighted by life because it should be me because I'm better than them. That's truly how I felt up until 3 weeks ago, like for real. And I think if I'm not, oh, I feel so free now that I'm admitting that. And I think that's why I hated them so much because I felt genuinely better and I should be living a better life than them because I'm better, because I follow the rules, I do all of the things, and yet they seem to not be following the rules and they're getting everything. And so I'm like bitter and mad and resentful and hate it and hate them for it. So let's see what Gemini says. It sounds like you're grappling with some really challenging feelings right now. What you're describing. Oh, and before we speak, I saw this post on Instagram and they were talking about how like people that talk to chat GPT all the time are like lame. And then someone else says they're narcissists because all it does is validate their dumb or their weak beliefs. Basically, they're saying that when people talk to chat GPT for perspective, um it makes them narcissistic because it only agrees with them. They're stupid. It does not agree with you. And this is the proof why. I just told you my statement, and this is what Gemini said in response. It sounds like you're grappling with some really challenging feelings right now. What you're describing, feeling superior to others who have achieved great success, then feeling slighted by life when they reach milestones you desire, is a common experience that touches on themes of comparison, self worth, and ambition. It's natural to compare ourselves to others, especially in a world where social media constantly shows us highlights of everyone else's lives. However, this kind of comparison where you feel you should be the one achieving because you're better can be a really painful cycle. When you feel you're better but haven't achieved as much, it highlights a disconnect between your internal sense of superiority and external validation or lack thereof. This gap can lead to frustration and a sense of unfairness. So much. It's easy to look at successful figures like DDG, Cardi B, Drake, and Sexy Red and see only their achievements, not the immense amount of work, dedication, setbacks, and perhaps even luck that went into their journeys. We often don't see the struggles behind the scenes. What does better mean in this context? Is it talent, intelligence, work ethic, character? It's worth exploring what criteria you're using to judge yourself as superior and if those criteria are truly what leads to the kind of success you're craving. The feeling often comes, the feeling of being slighted by life. The feeling often comes from a belief that things should be a certain way for you, or that life owes you something based on your perceived worth. While it's good to believe in yourself, a strong sense of entitlement without corresponding action or recognition can lead to resentment when others succeed. Life doesn't inherently owe anyone success. Ooh. Opportunities often need to be created or seized. When your focus is heavily on what others are achieving, it can divert energy and attention from building your own path forward. Every successful person has had to put in the work for their unique journey. Recognizing these feelings is a really important first step. Here are some thoughts on how to shift your perspective and energy. Redefine better. Instead of comparing your inherent worth, okay. So it takes courage to confront these kinds of thoughts. And then it goes into like the things redefine better, shift from comparison and inspiration. Necessarily want to be inspired. That's a thing. Let me go in and like start. So when I say better, I'm meaning in not necessarily talent or capabilities. I'm meaning in morality. I feel more morally superior. And I don't compare because I have everyone blocked except DDG. Actually, I do have him blocked on everything except Twitch. I don't know how to block that. But also, he's with India. Hey, cutie. What's up? You want a popsicle? Okay, what do you need? Oh, you're such a cutie. I'm almost done. I'm going to be done in like 3 minutes. Yeah, I just love her. She's my oldest. She's a Cancer, and we're so different in every way. And I've grown to appreciate that. I've really grown to appreciate that. She triggers me a lot. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right. And I don't compare because I have everyone blocked and muted. So I rarely see what they have going on. But when some of their stuff gets through on my social medias and I see favorable comments and supporters, it makes me feel jaded because no one supports me and I follow all of the rules. Let's see what it says. It sounds like the core of your feelings comes from a deep sense of moral superiority, leading to a feeling of being unjustly overlooked and unsupported when you perceive others, particularly those you deem morally inferior, gaining success and admiration. That is a tough place to be in, and it's understandable why you'd feel jaded. Oh, a hammock. My mom bought a hammock. My girls. Ugh, I love being able to say my girls. All right, let's break down some of what might be happening. The burden of moral superiority. When you believe you're morally superior, you're essentially operating from a position where you feel you deserve more or better outcomes because you follow the rules. The unwritten contract. It feels like there's an unwritten contract in the world. If I'm good, I should be rewarded with success and support. When that doesn't happen and you see others who, in your view, don't adhere to the same moral standards achieving, it feels like a profound injustice. Yeah. Defining rules and morality. What constitutes following all the rules or being moral can be highly subjective. Your definition might not align with how society or even specific communities operate or reward. Sometimes what we perceive as rules are societal norms or personal codes that aren't universally recognized as direct pathways to external success or popularity. Morality is often an internal compass. While it guides your actions, it does not always guarantee public recognition or support in the way talent or entertainment might value. It does not always guarantee public recognition or support in the way talent or entertainment value might. The rules you follow might not be visible or valued in the same way as, say, a catchy song or a charismatic personality. The impact of no one supports me. This feeling is particularly painful, especially when contrasted with the favorable comments and supporters you see others receiving. There's a clear disconnect between your internal sense of moral worth and the external validation you desire. This can lead to feelings of isolation and resentment. Support isn't always a reward for morality. Support, especially in the context of public figures and social media, often comes from connection, entertainment, relatability, or shared interests, not necessarily from a judgment or moral standing. People support artists like DDG, Cardi B, Drake, and Sexy Red for their music, their personas, their impact on culture, or simply because they enjoy what they put out, regardless of perceived moral character. The hidden work. Even if you block and mute, glimpses can still slip through. What you're seeing are the public facing results. The underlying efforts these artists put into building their brand, engaging with fans, or creating content are also significant. While you follow your moral rules, are you also actively engaging in ways that would cultivate the kind of public support you seek? I need to highlight that because I don't know what that means. Where is it? Here it is. Moving forward, reclaiming your power. It's clear the situation is causing you significant distress. Here are some ways to reframe your perspective and channel your energy. Separate morality from external success. Recognize that moral uprightness, while personally fulfilling and important, isn't a direct currency for public acclaim or financial success in the entertainment industry. Success often involves charisma, marketing, unique talent, and sometimes strategic risk taking that might not align with everyone else's rules. If your goal is to be moral, find the reward in that itself. What does being moral give you internally? Peace of mind, integrity. Focus on those intrinsic rewards rather than expecting external validation for them. Instead of feeling jaded by others' success, consider what kind of support you actually want. If you desire support for your own endeavors, what active steps can you take to cultivate it? Within your own moral framework, of course. Are you sharing what you do? Are you connecting with people who might appreciate your unique qualities or creations? Is there a community that aligns with your values where you can find support? Are your expectations of how the world should operate realistic? Examine your expectations. Life often doesn't adhere to a strict reward system based solely on moral behavior. Accepting this can be freeing. Focus on your contribution. Instead of feeling better, how can your moral compass guide you to contribute something unique or valuable to the world that aligns with your principles? It takes a lot of introspection to wrestle with these feelings. What kind of support are you hoping to receive? And for what specific endeavors or qualities are you seeking that support? Please elaborate. You know, it's so funny because I say all that about Mary Jane Byarm, and I think we are really mirrors of each other, like just the human race. Because it's like, as much as I got so offended and like, well, fuck her then. Good luck getting anywhere then, because you alienated your whole fan base, or not your whole, but you alienated the people that were really supporting you. I see exactly how I could have been doing the same thing to other people, like the people I named, with me being judgmental and feeling morally superior than these people. I 100% can see that. Like, yeah, because yeah, let me just leave it like that. I see how I have done the same thing. And also, it points back to the same thing is done to me, though, because it's like as above, so below. So, like, I've done it, as we're saying, to certain people that may be able to make or break a career. Do you remember the hammock in Arizona? Yeah. Yeah, so I've been the Mary Jane Byarm where I've gotten on my high horse and publicly and morally denounced certain figures that could have been in a position to put me on and may have made them feel the way I feel about her. Well, fuck you then. Good luck getting anywhere with that attitude. But then I've also been that person where people have projected onto me that same hateful energy because they felt morally superior than me and I seemingly am still succeeding. And so they have that wrestling within themselves. No, Maya, that's not how it works, baby. You're supposed to sit in it. It's not a swing, baby. You're supposed to sit in it. There you go. The sisters, the sisters. I dressed my girls up like twins yesterday. Lean back, Maya, like Gigi. You got to lay down like Gigi. Yeah. I love them so much. So yeah, like I've been the person and I've also been the person that has been projected on. It's not supposed to swing that much. You're supposed to just, and your feet is supposed to go up. You're supposed to be like a banana in there. Yeah. Like you got to lay the other way, the long way. Yeah. You guys, yeah. Try to get your feet to be next to each other. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. You feel it? Yeah. There you go, Gigi. Now you're relaxing. Um, So like same. So like how I was telling you guys, like I just don't understand why people like sexy red and da 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 da. Because I'm making a morality call on her. It's like she shouldn't succeed because morally I'm better than her. So quite naturally I'm supposed to have more blessings than she does. And then you see people that heavily fuck with her, like undying support. They're not going nowhere. They fuck with her the long way, forever. And then it just creates this bitterness and resentment and anger within me. Like, why? It's not supposed to be that way. And then I've seen how people have done that to me. Like people make judgment calls and morality calls because they feel morally superior to me. And they see people fuck with me the long way forever. And then they feel that same thing. Ah, and they project hatred towards me then. So,
Mommy,
hmm?
I read the song success green.
Yeah.
Yes, green. So fun.
Aw, she's so cute. Be careful. When we lived off grid in Arizona, she never had shoes on. Honestly, she didn't have nothing on but a diaper. It was always so hot. So I always just, she only had a diaper on. And she'd be walking on that Arizona sand and just like thugging it out. She'll get a thorn in her foot and be like, ouch, and then pull it out and keep walking. And so now, like, one, I call her Arizona, and two, she just be walking out here, like everyone's like, oh, I need my shoes, not Maya. She'd be like, don't, like true indigenous little girl. They're both laying together in the hammock. Isolation. Oh, let's do this. Resentment, and bitterness. The fundamental mismatch mismatch between your expectations based on moral superiority and the reality of how public success is gains leads to the feelings you described, feeling jaded. When you invest in the idea that moral behavior should yield certain external rewards and then see those rewards go to people you deem morally lesser, it creates a profound sense of disappointment and unfairness. It feels like the universe isn't playing by the rules you believe it should. Hold on. This jadedness can morph into resentment towards those who are succeeding and bitterness towards a system you perceive as unjust. Why them and not me when I'm clearly better becomes the unspoken question. If you're constantly judging others by your moral yardstick, it might inadvertently create distance, making it harder to attract the kind of broad, uncritical support that popular figures receive. People are often drawn to energy, confidence, and relatability, not necessarily moral perfection. On one hand, you believe you're superior, on the other, you see a lack of external validation. This creates internal tension and self doubt, even if it's masked by the moral superiority stance. It makes you question if your efforts are truly seen or valued. To ease this painful disconnect, the key is to adjust your expectations about the relationship between morality and public success. Does your definition of success have to include the kind of public adoration and material wealth seen in celebrities? Or can success also mean living a life of integrity, creating meaningful work, fostering deep relationships, or contributing positively to your immediate community, even if it's not globally recognized? Separate internal validation from external praise. Your moral compass and actions are valuable in themselves. Find fulfillment in living true to your values rather than relying on others' comments or support to validate your worth. Understand different currencies. Recognize that the currency for public fame is different from the currency of moral virtue. You can excel in one without necessarily excelling in the other. Action over expectation. If you desire more support, consider what actions you can take to cultivate it within yourself. This might involve sharing your work, engaging in communities, being authentically yourself without waiting for others to discover your superiority, seeking support from smaller, more intimate circles of people. The shift in perspective is incredibly challenging as it means letting go of a deeply held belief about how the world should operate, but it's also a path towards finding greater peace and directing your energy into what you can control, your own actions and your own definition of a fulfilling life. All right, let's see one last thing. Says when you say I follow all the rules, you're likely referring to a personal code of conduct, perhaps rooted in honesty, integrity, fairness, or kindness. These are undeniably valuable qualities for a good life and strong personal relationships. However, simply being moral or following rules doesn't automatically translate into public visibility, fame, or widespread support, especially not in industries driven by entertainment or mass appeal. Essentially, it's about recognizing that the rules you follow make you who you are, but gaining public support often requires additional proactive steps that put you and your work in front of an audience in an engaging way. It means being a participant in the public sphere, not just an observer. So that's all that about that. Um, when I first started on this journey, I was very much on a morality high horse in which I would judge a lot of people based on what I deemed morally right or wrong. And I'm not necessarily like backtracking on that, and I don't regret it in a way because it's still my perception of the world. I was doing it because it's genuinely how I felt. It's genuinely how I saw the world, and it's genuinely what I believe. So like I'm not upset about it at all. But now that I'm more mature and understanding, I see how on one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, it's like kind of how I was saying about the Queen Sovereign girl. Be very careful about what you say you would never be and what you would never do and what you judge to be beneath you, because you will very well become that exact same thing. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, and that's too, like, be careful, Maya. And that's too, like, if you look at the content that I put out lately, I use myself as the center. Because I still do like with calling Doja Cat a bozo that day, I still feel like that was a bozo move. Is she as a person a bozo? Hmm, you know? But I'm learning now to like judge actions opposed to a whole person. And then even more than that, I'm like I could talk about you, but then I can also talk about myself, like this whole situation. Like that's the thing. I'm starting to use myself as the center frame for teachable, learnable lessons, opposed to always projecting on like what the famous people are doing. And I think because that's the thing, I am opinionated and I am somewhat judgmental. That's just how I see the world. I give me some rules and I'm going to compare and I'm going to judge and I'm going to be like, that's not right. That is right. So I don't think it's anything wrong in that per se. I'm a very much pattern recognition girl, very direct, say it how it is, not fake at all. What I'm learning to do now is be a little more loving in my delivery. And then also don't be just as much as you can talk about the other person, be able to do it to yourself publicly too. I think that's the bridge in that gap is like my ability to also do it to myself, like call myself out as well. Mommy, yeah? I want to go trampoline. Okay, get in trampoline. Oh. It's hot. Go get your pants on. We just be chilling at my house, like. Mommy, I can't. Yeah. So I hit my time. We rounded it out on a positive note. So yeah, that's kind of my content. I've been trying to like focus more on psychology of things, not necessarily judgment, just to be like, oh, they ain't shit. Although, you know, sometimes I might feel away and be like, oh, they ain't shit. But at the end of the day, like I know they're really spider. Sorry, I gotta kill this spider because I don't want it on my kids or on me. Oh, it ran inside. That's all, folks. I don't know. Did y'all see her? Let me see. What are you in there doing?
Mommy,
Hmm?
I'm done.
Be careful. Oh no, you couldn't see her. So yeah, that's kind of it. I've been like trying to focus more on psychology, and when I do bring up other outside opinions and judgments, to be a little more careful, but then also understand like it could be me as well, because I have fucked up beliefs and ideas. Now I'm not going out here hoeing and shit like that, but hoeing isn't any less of a sin than judgment and being thinking you're better than somebody. You know, we all have our flaws, we all have our things we be trying to work on, and I get that. I understand that. I see the spider again.
Mommy,
Hmm?
you know if you kill spiders that doesn't even do anything to you, that's bad.
Yeah, but he was doing something to me. Huh? Trying to get on my stuff. And then he's a jumping spider, so I didn't want him to jump on you guys. He's way too close to you guys. I already killed it. So yeah, that's that whole spill on that. It's all a growth learning lesson. At least for me anyways. Anyways, that's it, you guys. That's the show. I will be back next week. I will have a new podcast episode out Thursday. I may or may not be back on Crash Course Pod. I'm frankly not inspired. There's no musicians that I'm inspired by. I've done all the musicians that I am inspired by, and there's no one new that I wish to do anything on or any musical topics. So maybe I'll figure out some other angle to take and then get back on Crash Course Pod. But for now, I'm at a stalemate. Like I have the episodes that I need to release that I have done. Stevie Wonder, Annie Clark, St. Vincent. Um, there's one more. I'm just not inspired though. I don't want to go and listen to any of those people right now to do the show. So I'm just like at a stalemate with that. But anyways, the other content will be out. If you want to donate to the cause, there's the answers down there, or look at the description box. And that's it, you guys. I will chop it up with you guys next time. Thanks for vibing and thanks for supporting. Deuces.